Buses, your local bus company serving your football team. Buses run every 10 minutes. Avoid the traffic. Don't get stuck in the delay. Get Ipswich buses today. A single from only £1.20, a return from only £2. Find out more information at www.ipswichbuses.co.uk. Ipswich Buses, proud to partner with Talking Town. Hello again, my friends, and you are my friends, and welcome to your midweek over the hump Wednesday match preview. That's right, we're about 50 hours away from the Friday night show, the press conference reaction where the weekend truly starts. So we're coming into view of the weekend, 50 hours away, and we'll try and pass the next 60 to 90 minutes to give you the best and most entertaining ITFC content you can possibly find. I want to say a huge thank you at the top of the show tonight, okay, because it is the 2nd of March today. I have submitted the updated TT Fifth Stand Ultra boards. Thank you to all of our new members either through that be YouTube or through the Ko-Fi site itself. Thank you all so much. But February's stats on the content side are just too good to not share. We got nearly 44,000 views in February. Subscribers was up, watch time was up, everything across the board was up. So thank you all so much, whether you've watched a minute of us, an hour of us, all of the content we put out, whatever it might be. A huge thank you. Nearly 44,000 views. Just phenomenal support, and we couldn't do it without you. So thank you all so much. The Cruncher's in the room. Good evening, Cruncher. Mr. Parry, one of our YouTube members, says Chelsea is up for sale at a bargain £3 billion, adds Cruncher. What a bargain for a fine football team. Sarah Davis, welcome in. I'm glad to see you. Megan Fairweather, good evening. We've got loads of people in the chat. Lee Brown, Roy Clark. Hope Ipswich players are watching the Luton match. See how they take a corner and score from it. Lee Brown, welcome in. I hope you're well. Simon and Nikki are here. Jeremy wants the link. That's how you do it. You see, I'll provide a link for the show. This is your platform to have your say, so you're more than welcome, Jeremy, as is anybody else. Before we do get too involved, let's have some news. So, in the news this week, we'd like to try and keep you up to date and make sure you're informed as Town fans. First thing is first, former Town physio, Dave Bingham, apparently is collecting for Ukraine. If you've got anything of need, just head on to the website and find out what they are looking for. They're collecting Otley Village Hall between Mondays on Monday nights between 7 and 5 and 7. And Robert Grimsey asked on Monday's show about the next fan event. It is on the 16th of March. You need to email your name, I suppose, asking to attend or putting it down to attend, making the list, whatever it might be. But it's on the 16th of March. So if you want to go, if you want to hear what McKenna and Ashton have to say, that's for you. Jeremy Lowe with a £4.49 super sticker. Jeremy, we love you. Thank you ever so much. Adams joined the party. And Robert has says he's got his Fury white ticket. Oh, Robert, I was... Do you know, I heard it on the radio today. I heard that they were on sale. And I was like, I'd love to go, but I'd need to shift a few more Ko-Fis before I can afford Fury versus white tickets, I think. Because it ain't happening. I looked at my bank balance and it just laughed at me. It went, you wish. Something else I often try and do. They're not doing the event, are they not? Are they not doing the event? So who on earth is doing the event? What's the point in going if it's not going to be McKenna and Ashton? I see they've got a new financial officer, Tom Ball. I hope he's on the ball. Oh, wait, that's a Norwich chant. That might not work. Either way, I've just said it. So who's doing... Let us know, Crunch, in the chat. Who is doing the supporters event? Because surely you'd only go for Morsy, Burns and Burgess. This is going to be a PR book, isn't it? Kally's nodding his head at the PR booklet. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Right, Morsy, Burns and Burgess. There you go. If you want to go and listen to them three talk, well, It's only action Burgess has seen in the last 6 months, is it not? I mean, he's not done much else, poor bloke. Time for filter. Anyway, let's go to a happier time. Because I do like to add an on this day in. And on this day in the year 2003, this week's is much better than last week's. Now, last week's I gave you the Chris Marsden, Lionel Messi fusion, where Marsden dances through the Town back line. Well, this week it is, of course, Norwich 0, Ipswich 2, goals from Fabian Vilnis, Darren Ben, and a debut for Dean Bowditch. Let's just remind ourselves, friends, of a time when we used to beat Norwich. Here is a brief glimpse. And as you can see, it's a scuff shot. Fabian Vilnis, bish, bash, bosh. What a time on this day in 2003. Do you remember it? We would love to know, love to hear it. Let's bring in one of our contributors. Does he remember it?
Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. You see the drippy, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up.
Mr. Curtis Yates, do you remember this on this day 2003?
Unfortunately not.
You don't?
I think I've only been about 5 or 6. So no, I'll have been 5. So no, unfortunately not.
Really? You'd have been 5?
Yeah.
Christ, you're younger than I thought. Right, you're right. So you literally are one of the generations that we're not going to say it out loud. We're not going to say those words out loud, but you're one of the generation that
I've not had the best upbringings when it comes to Ipswich Town, unfortunately. Yeah.
Good way of putting it. Yeah. Cruncher, Craig Fleming's hammy goes twang. Yeah, Dean Bowditch just goes past. Robert Grimsey, what a day that was. Ben Moore was only 2 years old himself. So I feel sorry for you fans that don't remember these times when these times when we used to beat Norwich on the regular.
Yeah, I think that's why I have so much frustration when it comes to Ipswich Town. But I'll appreciate the good times when they do eventually come round, though. I'll appreciate them even more then.
Well, this is it. They will taste that also sweeter, because as I was just saying with Tom James, who has done our February review, where we look at February and review it and talk about our highlight and our low light, etc. You can't have a highlight without a low light. So you can't have an euphoric win without euphoric losses.
Yeah,
nightmare losses. Maybe a euphoric loss, a nightmare loss. So it's the yin and the yang, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting for the highlights. I mean, I did go through the awful. Well, I've been to many of the awful games. 7-1 Peterborough, 6-0 Blackpool, 6-0 Leicester. I had the pleasure of witnessing all these games. So I've had many low lights. So I'm here's hoping for a highlight at some point in the near future. Yeah,
This is it. 3-2 the Santos, says Robert Williams. That's a different game, but yeah, absolutely. Why not? Chris Boyd, if you haven't seen the Southampton goal tonight, go and look it up. Stunner. Wasn't in the Hospital Cup. Right, we are playing Fleetwood this weekend, and one ex-player that won't be donning or taking to the field is none other than Joey Garner. Have you seen the red card that Joe Garner picked up yesterday, Curtis?
I have, yeah. I think Wigan Warriors would be happy with that challenge.
This is it.
Absolutely wonderful.
Absolutely. Well, I'm gonna play it for those that perhaps haven't seen it, but this is the reason why Joey Garner will not be playing against us tomorrow. I'm not quite sure what has gone on here, what the situation is, but this is more of a Tyson Fury, Dillian White, isn't it? Isn't it, Kurt?
I think it's all about nothing really. I think two players have come together, and then I think Garner's
come together. That's a wrestling match.
Yeah, I think they came together in a challenge, and I think Garner's swung a leg out. So, and then obviously with it being McLean, and is it McLean who was there?
It was James McLean, yeah. It was,
so I think both of them are known for being a bit hot-headed. So it was the two worst people you'd want going at each other's throats, unfortunately, and they both end up getting a red card. But no, I don't mind seeing stuff like that getting the proverbial stuck in. I don't mind that.
It's a little bit more conclusive than a Town certain red card, isn't it, Kally?
Man, I'm gully and techie. You want me, then check me. Just butt me, I'm ready. I need that money in heavy. I'm banging these raps like Pumpy with Shelly. Shell it, daddy, I'm dipping. I said that I'd leave, but I'm back in the kitchen. She poured.
Kally, Bisla.
How we doing, lads? How we doing?
The king is in his court. It's a little bit more conclusive than the Sam Morsy one, isn't it?
Yeah, Sam Morsy was never a red card at all.
Well, it was in the history books, Kally. So
fuck history.
you're fake.
Fuck history.
You're fake news, my friend. You're fake news. Do you remember the on this day today?
The Ipswich game.
Yeah.
Ipswich Norwich. I didn't go, but yeah, I was only about 14 at the time, 15 at the time.
You're probably on here moaning, weren't you knob?
No, but I was in Wolverhampton, so I couldn't drive. I wasn't driving. Oh well.
You've missed the joke. Come on.
Yeah, I know. I try to go over it. Try to get past it. Do you know what I mean? Past Crunch's 30-second rant or whatever.
30 seconds, yeah. Try a minute or two.
Which ended up being dragged up for a week on social media.
Oh, absolutely. Look, we need to have a chat, me and you. All right.
Okay.
Harper, Mr. Rakeem. Harper.
Oh no, he's not good. I don't know.
Talk to me, Kally, because I've got. He played 90 minutes the other day against I think it was Cheltenham. 86% pass rate, but 0 key passes. He's had somewhere between a 6.3 and a 6.6 according to SofaScore for the whole time he's been at Crewe.
He's not had a full set of games there. This was, I think, his first 90-minute game, right? And if you look, he's again playing in that kind of defensive midfield role. He's playing that deep kind of playmaker role that we thought Andre would play last year or whatever.
Just not the playmaking bit.
If he plays further forward, I'm still convinced if you put him in this McKenna team with Sam Morsy, you wouldn't see anything worse than what you've seen from Bakinson. I'm convinced.
Well, according to SofaScore, you would, because SofaScore has been quite kind to
SofaScore taking,
and he has scored a goal, to be fair, Tyree Bakinson, whereas Rakeem, I don't think he's even
in a McKenna team. Bakinson, if you put Bakinson in a Cook team, it'd be a different player altogether. Same as Harper.
So you're holding out the hope for Rakeem?
Yeah, 100%. I'm still convinced he's a better player than Bakinson. I've not seen anything. Apart from, actually, credit where it's due, he played a nice pass on the weekend into Norwood, and Norwood fluffed his lines. That was a nice little disguise ball. Kind of dinked it in the first half, and Norwood kind of like fluffed the lines, but that was a really good ball.
Any truth in what Robert Grimsby has brought to the party tonight? Are you going to go for a Toto hat-trick on Saturday?
I never bet on Ipswich, and I never bet on Ipswich-related games.
So he won't be then?
No, so if Ipswich are playing, I'm not putting a bet on that game.
Fair enough. Ben Hobbs. Downs looks like he's doing good things for Swansea. Crunch says Kally didn't go because he would have had to have paid in 2003.
Behave.
Chris Boyd, not liking the FA Cup round being entirely midweek. Think how many kids missed it at the Borough win last night, as it was a school night and they were in bed. Shame. I was surprised it was. Budgies are losing. Well, and another news, water is wet. So your predictions aren't particularly great, Kally, but we do have the prediction league wide open. And as you're on the show this week, I do have to come to you to get at least one of these committed to the airwaves. I do stress to the people at home perhaps not to follow Kally's lead. He still thinks we're probably going to finish fourth. We'll come to that a bit later on.
Or fifth. Or fifth.
Either way, it sounds even more ludicrous as the weeks go on. But I'll ask you an easy one. Colchester versus Port Vale. How do you see that one going?
I'd actually like Port Vale to win that. So I'd like a 2-1 win to Port Vale there.
Which means it's a 3-0 home win all day long, ladies and gentlemen. Curtis, Cambridge versus Shrewsbury. The boy Lanks doing good things at Cambridge. Can they
Hold on. Fair play. Well done, Martin. You said it properly. It's Shrewsbury, not this bloody Shrewsbury that everyone's saying. Yeah, good man.
Shrewsbury. Always, mate. See, I know my onions. Just don't ask me to say Dazelle or Dazelle. Cambridge versus Shrewsbury then, Mr. Curtis Yates.
I'm gonna go for a tight little 1-0. Tight little 1-0 to Cambridge.
A tight little 1-0. Okay, all right, a 1-0. The other games are Fleetwood versus Ipswich and Norwich versus Brentford. Doing good things. He's only scored one goal. That's not a fucking goal, all right? This is the team that can't score goals, Crunch. I'm about to talk about 0-0s again. I feel like I'm getting deja vu with last season. Suddenly we've dried up at the wrong time. Anyway,
I think I watched the wrong game at the weekend because I was completely unaware as to why Bakinson didn't get hooked off.
Thank you.
Thank you. I've seen so many people say he had a good game, and I was in that stand and I'm watching him, and I'm wondering why Sonny Luco got took off ahead of him. I've seen people say Luco was slow and lethargic, but yet he seems to be the only one who tried to actually make anything in that game, or at least he had an effort. But honestly, every time I think my views on Bakinson are quite clear. I think every time he runs around on the pitch, he's like a newborn horse. So it just,
what Bambi on ice? Bambi on ice.
It's hard to like smooth play when he grabs the ball. So I had to stand in that absolutely cold weather in Morgan, whether that was just what dampened my mood at the weekend, but he certainly didn't have the best game as what some people were saying he did.
Yeah. Well, there we go. So you're not quite sure on Bakinson, but the one thing you can be sure on is becoming a Ko-Fi TT Fifth Stand Ultra. You can follow the link to support the show. These are very old boards, I must stress, because I did submit the new list today. But a huge thank you to all of our monthly supporters. Without you, we couldn't deliver shows like tonight or Talking Darts, F1, the matchday tickets, which Curtis is a big part of this season with Coxie and the like. Kally obviously couldn't be on a platform to talk utter shite. So without, the Ko-Fi link, a lot of things probably would be better in your world, but you wouldn't have Talking Down. No, I joke. You wouldn't get the hours and hours of original content, of which, boys, 44,000 views in February. That's not too bad, is it? You know what I mean?
That's brilliant.
So it's not too bad. So if you do like what we do, if you do get value from us, head to Ko-Fi, become a TT Fifth Stand Ultra today. And Kally knows all about being an Ultra. Kally's often there in the way. Well, no, you're in the comp seats, aren't you?
No, yeah, but hold on. Normally we're on the terraces or whatever. It was just they've split it on Saturday between seated and terrace. And the only other place I won't stand is Accrington or Gillingham because I don't see the point of standing outside in the wet. I'm not doing that. Call me Timper if you want, but no, I want to be undercover.
I'm with you. I'm absolutely with you. I really am. But without you, we couldn't do the shows we do. So do consider supporting us through, as I say, through Ko-Fi. Right. Where did last night leave us? Let's have a look at the league table and let's get some thoughts on this one. We are in ninth still. We've sat in ninth since I was 10. It feels like that long of a season we've sat in ninth, but we are in ninth, 53. Sunderland in sixth, 35, exact same number of games as us, 59. It's now a race for sixth, isn't it, Curtis?
I think that's what it's always been, hasn't it? I think we've only ever been fighting for one place there. I'm optimistic still until it's dead in the water. I think I always have a shred of optimism, but I think it's going to be very, very difficult now. Very, very difficult.
Yeah, you've always got optimism unless we're dead in the water, says Curtis Kally. But you've often said fourth or fifth. It's got to be a race for sixth, doesn't it? Like Sunderland, Wickham, Plymouth, Ipswich, and even Portsmouth have now put themselves back into the conversation.
Yeah, everyone can be in the conversation. It's mathematically possible. Go down to think Burton, they're technically in the conversation. We're in the conversation to win the fucking title. If you put it that way, it's mathematically possible, I think, right? Or at least automatic promotion. The league is mad. The league is absolutely mad, right? So that's the thing that's been our saving grace. That's the reason we're still in here and we're talking about the possibility. Have we or haven't we got a possibility of making the playoffs? I think it's going to be one of those. I think there's going to be a few teams which are going to kind of just fall apart. I think when we beat Oxford, I think that's going to be the downhill for Oxford. They're going to get beaten by us and then they won't recover. So they'll kind of continue on a downward spiral from there. I do think sixth or fifth, maybe. I'm still going to say that fourth is technically possible. It just the problem with that is I don't see three teams falling away like that. I see a few more. The teams above us on the outsides, if you have a look at the other teams, I think Plymouth have got a really bad run at the end of the season. The only team for me that I'd be worried about, and I actually think if we don't go make the playoffs, I think they'll end up not only making the playoffs but going up, is Sheffield Wednesday. I think they're hitting a bit of form at the right time as well. They beat Burton the other day. Yesterday, was it 5-2 or something? They won on the weekend as well. So I think they're the team to look out for. And they're the team that if we do make playoffs, they're the ones that we've got to beat to go up, I think.
They're the ones who've got to beat to go up? Says Kally Curtis. What do you think of that?
No, I fully agree with what he says. I'm a bit. I think it's optimistic to be possibly saying fifth is still in question. I mean, it is. Again, it is like he says, it is mathematically possible. But I think it's all a bit pie in the sky at the moment. But it's the one thing I can say is it's an enjoyable end to the season. Whereas at this point in recent years, we'd be trotting our way along to a mid-table finish and this, that, and the other. So
that's it, though, isn't it? You're right there, Yates. It's enjoyable. Sorry,
it's enjoyable.
But it is, like Yates is right. Like last season, okay, the only kind of happiness we had towards the end of the season is Martin's best friend got sacked, and we had new owners, and we were looking for this new project that was going to happen. The season before that, okay, it was COVID, and we felt a bit hard done by and stuff like that. But it's nice to even if you think of a couple of championship seasons before that, before we got relegated, it was like there was a lot of dead rubber games towards the end of the season. Whereas it feels like Yates is saying there, as we go to maybe even to the very last game, there's everything to play for. That's what football's about, right? Playing to the last minute.
Yeah, is it going to go down to the last? I don't think it is.
Everyone's taking points of everyone. That's what our saving grace is. How bad this league is. That's our saving grace. And I'm trying to be as optimistic, and I am, because. The team, I can't imagine McKenna's not believing. He's taking one game at a time. It's like, we're going to win them all. We're going to win them all. Let's see where that puts us. If we carry on winning and other teams slip up or whatever, I know February results haven't been, when you look at it, each result in isolation, you think, okay, that was a bit shit. But we went through the whole of February without losing a game. And okay, we drew to Cheltenham and what's his face? Fucking hell, I've forgotten the name. Where it was on Saturday. Morecambe, that was it. Bloody hell. Forgot where I was. I was about to check Google Maps. But we drew to them, but we didn't lose. We lost at Cheltenham away earlier on in the season. We lost at other kind of lower kind of teams. So we're not losing games at the moment, which is good. No. So as long as you don't lose, you still take something away from each game. Now, if you can start building on that, and we know we'll probably talk about it a bit later, but our biggest problem is our not scoring. Apart from on the weekend when we conceded, we've been pretty tight at the back. But again, when you look at since McKenna, even before McKenna, and you look at Cook, the story of the season in terms of goals we've conceded, which have either cost us 2 points or 3 points, is us gifting it to the team. I would argue that there hasn't been, apart from I think Rotherham when they come down and beat us 2-0. There hasn't been and obviously when they just demolished us that game at home 5-2, but there hasn't been a team that's really played us off the park or really beaten us. We've actually given teams opportunities, and we cut those opportunities out, which I think we slowly are. That's why the defense broke a record of clean sheets and all the rest of it. But then it's the same defense that 3 opportunities to clear the ball and we let them score. So we need to make sure that doesn't happen.
The reality is, though, Curtis, if we're potentially looking at a 3rd year without the playoffs, Rotherham go up and down and make it look so easy. Wednesday are potentially going to be back in being the playoffs at the first time of asking. 9th place or anything outside the playoffs, it's building blocks, but it's still a club of our size, 20,000 odd will be up there at Lincoln. It's still not great, not acceptable.
It's one of them. I mean, as everyone's been saying, this whole. I mean, a lot of people said the start of the season's it finished us off. Well, it's not just the start, is it? It's the start, middle, and then McKenna's have to come in and basically take us to the finishing line. So it's not just the start; it's the whole form we had prior to McKenna. It'll be a 3rd season without the playoffs, but equally, I suppose if you want to look at the silver linings, we came into this league with Marcus Evans. And we look like a team just completely on a downward trajectory. Whereas now we do have some level of optimism about where our club is going. And the form that we are in, I mean, what is it? Someone said, is it 27 points out of 36 since McKenna's took charge?
It's really good.
If you start the season with that type of form, I know it's ifs and buts and this, that, and so other, but that it is promotion form. It just is. Like, I mean, and I said that to the barber in the shop today. I said to him, like, it's 27 points. Like, if someone said that to you, you'd be snapping their hand off. But then if the problem is, the table at the moment makes us look like we're just stagnating on 9th, which is absolutely horrendous to keep looking at us in 9th. It's like we've made that our home now. But you've got to look at the silver lining. Yes, it's a third. It maybe will be another year in League One, but we now have some level of optimism for next season. And we're not ending the season in the same way Cook did last year, where he was going off on the players that we had here. We're not ending it with 3-0 batterings, this, that, and other. These games, like for example, the weekend against Morecambe, yeah, it was a massive sucker punch to concede that goal. And it's like I said there, we aren't making many mistakes in the same way that we were earlier in the season. It was a pain in the arse that we conceded that goal at Morecambe. But again, unfortunately, that's just Ipswich. We do have a habit of conceding these shite goals. But if you flip it, earlier in the season, we'd have then conceded another one. And then because we wouldn't have shut up shop at the back, but the players did. And to be fair, I don't think we played well. I really don't think we played well. But we still got that goal. We got a goal from Burns, and we played shit. We played shit to get that goal. So these are little tiny stepping stones. And again, whilst it's not amazing to look at the table, we have still got something to play for. It's not dead in the water, and it just makes it an interesting finish to the season. So it's not all doom and gloom. It's a pain in the backside, but it's one of them.
It's far from all doom and gloom. In fact, it's positive. For a lot of it, I would say it's just that league position, that the fact we'd be missing potentially the playoffs for the third year in a row. As Chris Boyd says, if you finish in the same place 3 seasons in a row, you've probably found your true level. That could be a bit of a gut punch for a lot of fans to hear. Do you not agree with that? Because what bit of it do you?
Because the club's changed. Because you're talking about
that is true. That is true.
The first 2 years you've had, like Yates said, it's a Marcus Evans Ipswich Town. You've now got a game changer at Ipswich Town where look at just the caliber of players we've brought in over the summer. Yeah, right? We're buying some of the best available. To quote Mike Brown, we're not doing the bargain basement at Poundland anymore. No. No disrespect to some of the people, but come on, we thought our attacking options last season were going to be sold by Ollie Hawkins and Aaron Drinnan. Like that was our options before. Now it's like, okay, I know it's a bit of a timing to talk about attacking options, but we went out and bought the best striker in the league. It just hasn't worked for him, right? In terms of Pickett, right? Bond's come in, load of form, right? Okay, he's fizzled off, but the goals certainly have been there, which we were starved of as Ipswich fans for a long time. So, like, no, I don't think it's going to be as simple as saying, okay, look, we've got McKenna now. He's got 24 points from 36 or whatever it may be or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. And yes, we're on this trajectory. The issue I have about let's settle for next year is excuse my French, that's a pussy approach because like you still got the rest of the season, right? Either you want to battle
11 games, 11 games,
if you want to battle points. Do you want it or not, right? Now, if those players have settled, which I don't think they have, I think those players are rare and they believe they can not only make the playoffs, they can, go up as well. We should be having that kind of same optimism as well. Like Yates has hit the nail on the head there about the Morecambe game. We played average a season ago, or even 6 months ago. We'd have lost that game. We'd come away with a point and a bit of a kind of, happy moment because we've equalised right at the end, right? That's always nice feeling, isn't it? Equalising right, especially because the Morecambe fans were quiet all game, and they started singing, and it was like, yeah, shut up now, right? So you've still got to play on. The problem is though, if we get to summer and we are in League One, don't think we just can. Oh yeah, we just need to add a striker and a left back. No, we'll have to add more because there'll be players going out. Ashton buys and sells players. That's what he does, right? He would have bought Wes Burns for whatever. He's worth money now, right? If a club comes in with a £4 or £5 million offer for Wes Burns, you're telling me we're not going to look at it? Or if someone comes in for Fridge for £3-4 million for Fridge that costs you 700 grand, you ain't going to look at it. So you're then going to have to replace these players. That's the problem about us not going up this season. We have got players there that are championship caliber players. Super Sam, our skipper, right?
Yeah.
There'll be people after him as well, right? But the problem is, even like Selena, I know he's been one that's kind of split the fan base, but you saw the difference he made when he come on the weekend, right? He drives at players. You've pulled up the stats before, Martin, about his chances. So we have got the players that, if you like, are at a higher level. And I said this in the summer when we signed the players. It reminded me of when Wolves were in the Championship and they got bought up by Fosun, their owners. and they had people like Willy Bolly, Champions League defender, right? They had Ruben Neves. They had Ivan Cavallero and Helder Costa. All these players that had Champions League experiences and higher level, they dropped down for the project. It worked. They went straight up.
Yeah.
Our issue is, and as a Cook fan, did we keep Cooking there too long? Right? Has that affected us? Because we've seen how 3-5-2 suits our players down to a T. It's the best formation.
It really
right?
does. Yeah, it really does.
Right. So why that was never switched up, we will never know. Right? But
because Cook was a 4-2-3-1 man.
That's a good comment there by Saj. They're a bit out of form at the moment.
They're all out of form. That's the issue, isn't it? Yeah.
But the thing is, people are still coming up with goals. Burns pops up on the weekend. Jackson popped up the other week. So people.
That's the issue, isn't it? It's not enough goals from other areas.
It is, and I know we're going to get onto other things in terms of players who could contribute, right? But I think it's one of those where just keep the faith, and it will keep coming. Like if it wasn't for the fact that I don't know what type of drug the bloody goalkeeper had on the weekend, their goalkeeper, but he was flying. That was
views are their own, not of the network.
That was some pure Colombian something, right? That he'd done, and he was jumping around.
He was in fine form, basically, is what you're trying to say.
Well, he made team of the week, didn't he?
He did,
right?
And there was that, yeah.
And I don't know where about you were behind the goal, Yatesy, but JD's chance at the end. You've seen that, yeah?
Yeah.
I'm up out of my seat. I'm celebrating the goal like it's dead. Like, what? It's just like how has that happened? We were just unfortunate, right? The chances. It's not like when we played Northampton last year, or when we've beaten or drawn with the Gillingham over the years under Lambert, where it's like, shit, we've had one shot on target or no shots or whatever. We're making it. We'll have it. Listen, if he was smoking some of my stuff, he wouldn't be moving, mate.
Right.
He'd be chilling.
The VIP area has lit up like a Christmas tree. We have got loads of people waiting. Let's bring in, let's go for the Fisherman. We mentioned him a couple of times. Here he is.
Man, Fisherman.
Right, doing all right, boys?
We're doing very well. How are you? I see in the chat earlier you've got us finishing 10th.
Yeah, I was having you know what? I thought I'm just going to go on a prediction league. I found one, and I just grabbed all the teams above us, and including us, and sort of looked at the games. It just went like 1-0 draws or losses. You know what I mean? Just to see where I felt we would end up. If we'd have been like, I guess if we'd have won the last two games, I probably would have given us more chance against some other teams. But reality is, I just don't see us scoring goals while we're playing players out of position.
Who's that position?
Norwood for a start. You don't play him wide left, do you?
Norwood
don't play him at all.
You do play him. He's our best striker. You should know that. And where did you get £4 to £5 million for Burns? That's a shocker.
The same place you got.
The same place you got. You'll get 5.
Wait, I'll tell you. The same place you got £3 million for Walton.
Sorry, that's a good comeback. You know that one, Mike.
Hang on. I've got one back. No, yeah.
That's a good one. That's a good return serve.
But yeah, no, I mean, 4 or 5 million for Burns. Oh, cool. No. Fridge, I wouldn't disagree, because I think there is. I've had a few rumours regarding the old couple of our players, but whether they're true, I don't know. They're all rumours, aren't they? Look, I'll be honest with you, boys. I kind of just looking each game now and just seeing where we go. Playoffs for me are probably done and dusted. I just think there's teams in that, like Sheffield Wednesday, great call by Kally. I had Sheffield Wednesday, I think, finishing third in the end. Rotherham and Wigan going up. Sheffield Wednesday, if they carry on their form, they'll finish third. And that'll be just a case of who finishes sixth, really. I just can't see us finishing sixth. I was talking to Cruncher earlier, having a bit of banter and stuff, but he was saying we were averaging 2 points a game. If we do that next season, that's promotion. So look, for me this year, Cook has cost us, no two ways about it. Far too many players coming, wage bill too high. Look, I know Selena comes on and does a little bit here and there, but for me, he's not done enough to warrant his paycheck. So there's quite a few players there really that haven't sort of warrant their paycheck. I thought Thompson was pretty poor at the weekend.
Yeah.
Great defensively. Well, I wouldn't say that at the weekend, but he's a far better defender than Penny, but Penny's far better going forward, in my opinion. I don't understand why Edwards isn't playing on that left-hand side.
He's injured.
Oh, yes, of course he is, yeah. But he hasn't been, no, has he? He wasn't, and
he had
even
COVID
considered.
first. He had COVID when McKenna first joined, so he had to isolate, play for the road, all the rest of it. He has had a niggle on his thigh, which he had earlier on in the season, and now he's done something to his hammy. So realistically, unless we make the playoffs, I don't think we'll see him.
No, fair point.
Mike, let me ask you this: if you think the season's over and we can't see us finishing 6th, in fact, you see us finishing more 10th than 6th.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Bakinson, Thompson, would you now not play those players because they're lone players that have got a 50-50 chance of being here to play a Matt Penny to see if you can get a bit of form out of him or a potential suited team interested in signing him? Do you play in Idris El Mizani more regularly to get him more game time to bring him through? No, but I guess the question is, do you look to the bench, to the young players, to the fringe players over the lone players like a Bersant Salina who doesn't know if he'll be here next year if you think our season is over?
Trouble is, McKenna doesn't see that, does he? He's not going to come out and say season's over. I don't think. Look, I love McKenna. I love the way he coaches, and I love it. Obviously, he's very articulate when he talks and stuff like that. My biggest gripe with him is he had nothing to lose this season. So, keeping a more settled side, and that means, look, we've had, like I said the other night, we've got a back four that's settled. Midfield's reasonably settled, and yet it keeps chopping and changing that front line. And I just think
they're all out of form.
No. Jack
Jackson
giving
him a
had
chance
2 really good games recently, right? And yet he was dropped. That makes sense.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that.
Like I said, if play Norwood in his more natural position. He's not a player that you're sitting there playing wide left of a 3. He's a player that you stick on the last defender. You know what he said when he came on the show. He likes to hustle and bustle the defenders. If I was centre back, right, and I found out Norwood was playing on the right hand side or right hand side of a 3, I wouldn't be that worried. But if I knew he was playing up front, he was playing on my coattails, I'd be like, I'm in for a game. But I think that's
Norwood has had it. To be fair to Norwood, sorry to interrupt you, Mick.
That's right.
Norwood, he had a good purple patch when he was trying to prove, I don't know, himself or whatever, and he kind of got himself back into the team. But then he has had opportunities, and he has come off, and he has played at top, right? And he's fluffing his lines. And the frustration for me, my frustration with him is instinctively, as an instinctive finisher, James Norwood, yes, one of the best at the clubs, as an instinctive finisher. When you give him time on the ball, and you can just look at any of the clips, you give him time on the ball, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's a coincidence, but it just seems he overthinks it and then he fluffs his lines, right? That's my only frustration. The injury stuff, I ain't even bother about the injury stuff because he seems to, touch wood, he seems to have got through that, right? And he's looked after himself. He looks in good shape and all the rest of it. So fair play to him, right? But it's you're fluffing your line still. And all this talk about him being the best striker, Bond's going for a bad patch. I still think Bond's the best striker at the club.
No, but I tell you what, Kally, right? I hear what you're saying, and that ain't a bad shout where Norwood's concerned. But I tell you the Bond's problem, right? For a striker,
staying onside,
right? For a striker, right? How can he not look along that line and know how to bend his run? Because he came on I watched the Cheltenham game. He came on, and his first thing was, he's offside. I was like,
I don't mind that.
In all disrespect, he's got to learn this stuff. He shouldn't learn it. He should know it. He should know how to play that offside. You bend your run. You time your run. Norwood is brilliant at that, to be fair. Norwood is very good at bending his run. And one-on-one is where my biggest issue is with Norwood. He does tend to fluff his lines when it's one-on-one. But if the ball comes in at pace or he comes in, he just hits it first time without thinking. 9 times out of 10's in the back of the net.
But you want your striker to think. You want your striker to have a bit of, and they are going to get opportunities when you look at if everyone in our team plays to their strengths in terms of if you look at people that can split the defense in terms of with their passing. You look at whether it's a Lee Evans pass over the top, whether it's Selena pass or whatever. there's going to be times where you've got one-on-one and just time and time again, he's not making the right decision. I'll give you an example. His goal against, I forgot, was it MK Dons? Bond's goal against MK Dons, where KVY, was it MK Dons where KVY pinged the ball all the way from the right back? Yeah.
Early part of the season,
right back. Bond had a lot to do, brings it down, muscles the defender, finishes out.
Great
James Norwood will score a similar goal to that because he did it at home. But then see when Wickham away, or even the Doncaster game when we won 6-0 and Bond scored, and he picks it up at the edge of the area, he has a little touch, moves, and then he can shoot. Norwood ain't scoring that goal. Norwood's fluffing the line, and that's my problem. Is like, yes, he's a good striker, but if he, and I don't mean any disrespect to him, because I'm not trying to come on here and badmouth someone or disrespect him, but if we're saying he's our best striker at 31 years old, who hasn't scored more than 11 goals in League One, be it for whatever reasons, is he the right striker for a club that you then are saying that you want to get, top 2 finish?
All right, Curtis, how do you see it, Curtis? Obviously, Jackson, Norwood, Bond, all being mentioned in that conversation there. Great conversation from them, the two lads at the bottom. How do you see it?
To be fair, I completely agree with Mike. I think the most frustrating bit about Norwood playing is when he's played on that left. I think when you've got a player like him, and he is a good finisher. He just is, and he has proved it throughout his career, barring injuries, disrupting his performances and things like that. I mean, the problem is our options that we've got, we're kind of stuck at the moment because each one of them is so badly out of form. I mean, we talk about Bond going through a bad patch. Never mind the fucking patch. He's knitted the fucking quilt. Like, we don't talk about the patch. Like, it's got so bad that this is a man who's now, like, we all thought when he scored that one goal, because he was on 11 for a while, wasn't he? And then he got 12, and we all thought, oh, maybe this will kick him back into gear. Did he score against Wickham? Was it? I think he scored against Wickham, and we thought, oh, right, he's out of his form now. He's still in it. And for me, do you want a player who's, like, say, never mind out of form? He's now going up to the 20-game mark where he's only scored one. I mean, that's not out of form. That's just. Sorry to interrupt you, because we say, okay, 20-game mark and all the rest of it, and he's in such bad form, and everyone talks about, we're going to compare two strikers, Norwood and Bond. Everyone's like, Bond is shit, Norwood's doing great, blah, blah, blah. Bond has already hit Norwood's highest scoring figures in League One, and he's played shit for 20 games. So how can you not say that actually? And let's be fair, Bond's a lot younger.
Yes.
Right? I know the problem is, come summer, both of these players, we have to make a decision as a club, not us because we're not in that room, but Ashton and all the rest of it have to make a decision, because I can't see him signing both of them. It'll be one of them.
I value Bond over Norwood.
Realistically,
exactly.
I don't see either of them being at the club beyond summer. I don't see.
Unless we find a goal scorer, like a top goal scorer in the lower leagues, like like a League Two gem, like who's ripping it up at League Two? Maybe what's the name? Aaron Brennan.
Aaron Brennan. Shush. Cruncher says Alan Shearer hadn't scored a goal in over 2 years for England before Euro '96. I'll bring Jeremy in. Jeremy, join the party. What do you make of the conversation so far? Who is the striker that we need to save?
I'm surprised Simpson hasn't been given a chance.
Well, that's a contractual issue, isn't it?
Because unless he signs a contract,
when he was at Swindon, he was banging in goals.
But again, Jeremy, that's League Two.
Yeah.
So Aaron Drennan. Ken Lock scored 2 goals in League Two as well.
No disrespect to you, Kally, but League Two's League Two. This is League One, and he needs to be given a chance to show what he can do on the League One stage. I think
there is an argument, Curtis. You don't know the situation, but let's say it is this contractual situation that many people, the three of you have just said that's on the show right now. We don't know that's the case, but let's go with that it is. There is an argument that he's still our player, still on the wage budget for this season, which means he's a commodity that you should still be using if he can bring something to the game.
Yeah, most certainly he's an asset. I mean, he's a younger player of ours. I mean, we can say that it's only League Two, but again, you can only play what's in front of you. And for half a season, he did the job. He did, and there's a reason why Swindon fans were loath to see him leave.
Yeah.
So, I mean, let's be frank. Realistically, when you see our striking force lining up on the side and waiting to be subbed on, I don't really get that fire in my belly thinking, oh, one of these is going to come in and lash a goal in. So maybe change it up. Maybe change it up. Get Simpson on the bench. And I know it's all about whether he's going to sign his contract or not, but the only way you're possibly going to entice him into even going near his contract is if you show him that there is a chance to possibly get some game time. Because to be fair, if I was a player and I was ripping up in Swindon, and I came back now, and I don't know whose games this is. If it is Ashton playing games, I don't know what it is, but if I was doing it at Swindon and I came back here to just be lumbered in the under-23s, I'd be fairly pissed off, and that would make me want to even less sign a contract.
But you could take sorry to interrupt. You could take another view on that though. They could turn around and say, look, could have said to Simpson, right, look, come back, sign a contract. You know, you've been banging in goals for Swindon. There's a good chance you'll make the first team. The reality is he's not signed a new contract. Why would you sign a player who doesn't want to? Why would you play a player, even though he's our player, in the first team if he's not willing to sign a contract to stay here? I mean, if we're looking for the future and Simpson's not going to sign a contract, or hasn't signed a contract, we know that because there's been no announcement on that. Then sorry,
we all need to stop. The thing is, none of us are in that conversation. None of us know what's going on, right?
No.
So no. Hold on, let me just say something, right? Because I've just seen Crunch's comment there about his agent, right? We can't say that because we don't know what the conversation is. Let me flip it to you. Let's flip it. Let me give you another scenario. Let me give you a scenario where the club don't want to keep Simpson anyway. They see him as an asset, but they've realised there's not a year option on his contract. So what they want to do is protect that asset, and now they're going to say, actually, sign this contract. We'll give you a boost in wages for the next 6 months or whatever, right? So you got make a bit of money there. But now we're going to put a £500,000 or £2 million or whatever release clause on the thing because you're a young English striker. Mm-hmm. We know that that's of value. We want to do that, but then that's going to get him out of potentially a move to someone like a Swindon Swindon can't afford £500,000 transfer fee or £1 million, right? But what they can afford is probably paying a free transfer at the end of the season.
But why would you go to Swindon? Why would you go to Swindon to play sign a contract in Swindon? You're never going to get the wages that you're getting here.
It's not about wages, and he's 19.
Of course, it's about wages. That's
not when you're 20 years old. No, mate. Not when you're 20 years old. When you're 20 years old, you want to play football. For him, he could be ripping it up at Swindon next year, right? And who's to say in 2 years' time he doesn't get a Kiefer Moore type of situation? Right, where he's now playing in the Championship on bigger money than he's ever known. I'm not saying he'll be an international or whatever, but you need to have that. For him sitting in the under-23s and us as fans just saying, oh, his agent's giving him bad advice. Flip it. His agent might be advising him the best thing. We all work, right? You got to protect yourself. Simple as short lifespan. He hasn't made it at Ipswich to be as a regular player. What's the chances realistically next season that he's going to be a starter? At best, he'd be a bench option if we're being realistic, because there is a golfing class between League 2 and League 1. And he still needs another season. He needs a full season at League 2. He's had 6 months. I remember when Andy Carroll had 6 months in the Championship, ripping it up for Newcastle, signed for Liverpool for big money and flopped hard. Right? These players need to develop.
Let's go further. Let's just go further, Curtis.
I'll quickly say, I don't agree with the whole it's all about wages, because realistically,
no, I don't either.
Is it Simpson that doesn't want to sign the contract, or McKenna?
Either way, I just think if you look at the options, Curtis, Jeremy, Mike, Kally, if you look at the options, everyone's saying Tyrese Simpson. I think just needs to take a step back, because yes, he's had a good 6 months at League 2 level. Before that, nothing. But if you're going to go by records, Joe Pickett's got 25 in League 1. Caden Jackson has scored goals at League 1 level and has come good recently. I mean, Mike Brown, if I said to you 6 months ago in March, you'll be asking for Caden Jackson to start a game, you'd have told me I was absolutely off my rocker, but here we are. James Norwood, who you've called the best striker at the club, scored goals at League One level, and Macaulay Bonne has scored goals at League One level. Isn't it just a case of putting together a front three and trusting in a three case? And because Tyree Simpson, all due respect, might had a good 6 months, but he's not got the record those four have got. That's a really good front four for any League One side.
Well, first of all, in regards to why would Tyree Simpson want to go to Swindon, he'd want to go to Swindon in the same way Bertrand Selena wanted to come to Ipswich Town. Like, without being funny, there will have been better options for Selena in the summer than Ipswich Town Football Club, and he came to us, and he gave us his reasons why he chose it. So I don't believe it is all about wage. But in regards to Simpson, yeah, we can go off everyone's past records, but realistically, you can't judge Simpson because he's not got a record there within League One. So the only way you're going to build your record within League One is by getting the chance to play. And as we've seen via Piggott, he has just been massively unlucky, unfortunately. Some of his shots hitting the bar post, going an inch wide. Bonne either being up against goalkeepers on crack, like or Jackson. They are just unfortunately massively out of form. And I think this is where we might just need to jazz it up a bit up front. And this is where Simpson does have to come into the conversation, because we've given so many chances now to your likes of Norwood, Piggott, Bonne, maybe not Jackson because he's only just come back into the fold. But this is where unfortunately Simpson needs to come into the conversation, signing the contract or not. I don't understand why the contract is a big deal, to be fair, because as in the modern world now, contracts mean F4 anyway. So I don't actually know why it is, unless there is some kind of weird sticking point that is in that contract. That is the only reason as to why I can see it being an issue.
If a player doesn't, sorry, Chris, if a player doesn't want to be here, then he doesn't play. Simple as.
I don't think it's a case of not wanting to be here, though. Like
sorry, we could
do just said again. Couldn't you said again? You know, if it's about football, get your head down inside the contract. No, why would you get your head? Why would you sign? Look, do you sign up to credit agreements or any contract that you're going to be like, okay, I don't want to be here. I'm gonna stay with this employer that's now I'm contracted for 5 years to stay here, where I don't think I've got a future. They haven't shown me I've got a future. Whereas actually, if I become a free agent in the summer, or I just keep my original terms where there's no minimum release fee or whatever, then all of a sudden, the lower teams that I can be that will want me, I can go to those clubs.
All right. I think we could do this issue to death. Either way, because we're all looking at
Tyrese.
Yeah, I think we really could, because you're looking at it, and we all come into different conclusions, different assumptions, and when you assume, you make an ass out of you and an ass out of me. So we really could do it to death. I just, before we move, I'm with Dominic. Everyone likes a romantic story. I remember a couple of years ago, it was Ben Morris. He was the next saviour of Ipswich Town. Why isn't Ben Morris starting? Everyone loves that sort of romantic player coming out of the wilderness.
I must admit, with Ben Morris, I never actually understood the hype with him.
There have been many saying the same thing with Tyree Simpson. There have been many saying the same thing with Tyree Simpson.
At least with Simpson, he's actually done half a season and did his job.
Possibly so.
He ripped it up in the reserves, isn't it?
Right.
I think until we get our youth set up back in order, we are not going to be producing any good quality of youngsters in the near future. And I think we should go down the Brentford road and get rid of our academy, if I'm brutally honest, because there's so much money wasted on potential and maybes and wannabes, and how many have actually come through over the years?
Fair point. All right. Well, we've got two people waiting to come on. So, Jeremy, Mike, love you. Appreciate a quick word.
All the best, guys.
One of our partners, and then we will bring. I think it will be probably Mr. Parry first of all. I'm going to get a quick drink. Hello, you lovely lot. I am here very quickly to discuss Woodpecker Mortgages and Protection, run by Ipswich Town fan Graham. So you're in good hands if you go with Woodpecker Mortgages and Protection. I want to discuss the income protection service they do with you. You all know me and you all know my story. Literally, one day I went out into that big wide world, a scary world, and I had an injury which left me disabled and unable to work. Just like that, I lost my income. Just like that. That's a click there. Crazy. This may have been an answer to a prayer, because obviously when you can't work, you can't earn. And when you can't earn, your bills are still going to be there wanting to be paid, like children needing to be fed. This could have been an answer to my prayer and taken some stress away from me and let me focus on my mental and physical health. Income protection insurance, it's not for everybody, but it might be for you. So give Graham a call on 01636 337 447 or email graham@woodpeckermortgages.co.uk. And I must say, your home may be repossessed if you do not keep up with payments on your mortgage. They also do a huge wide range of things like home insurance, remortgaging and mortgaging. See if ITFC fan Graham can save you money. Click the link at a time when inflation is raging, etc. I mean,
I think my mortgage is up.
Mate,
My fixed
oh, there
term's
you
up at
go,
the end of
Kally.
the
Go
year,
and see if he can save
I'll
you.
definitely be.
There you go.
Where I heard saving money, that was it. My ears picked up. He's like, okay, yeah, I'm there.
Exactly,
you know
man.
As long as he wants to get paid in rupees, we're all good.
As long as it's tender, I don't know what he may or may not take. But Cruncher put in the group chat earlier. He said, "Anyone looked at your gas and electricity bill, or what it's going to be?" And I was like, "No, I haven't got the bottle to." I ain't saying Graham can save you that much money, but any money you can save needs to be taken up. Right, tomorrow 7:30 is away day guide to Fleetwood. I couldn't find that many players that have actually played for Fleetwood and Ipswich Town, believe it or not. So I'm going to grab 2 questions from the Football for Brains quiz book. Jay Brace, please do come forward. You have won a copy. So please come forward and claim your copy. There's only 2 questions. I'll ask you first, Kally, because you clearly were not as excited as you should have been. How many goals?
Because I'm shit at trivia.
Easy one for you. This is an easy one for you. And this is one that Colin will definitely know. So, Colin, listen up. How many goals did John Walk score in the 1980-81 season?
19 what?
How many goals did John Walk score in the 1980-81 season? A, 36, B, 37, C, 38, or D, 39?
Do you know, I wasn't even in my daddy's nutsack at that time, so I don't even know. I don't know. I'm going with Beep's answer, 37. Let's go 37.
37 says Lewis. 37 says the Fisherman. 37 says the Cruncher. 35 says Lee Bayliss. 36 says Emerson, and it's Emerson. 36.
That's what I said I was going with Emerson's answer, 36, didn't I?
You did. No, you didn't. You said. Don't try and confuse me. It's pretty easy past 9 o'clock. Don't try and confuse me. Right, Curtis. This is one that Kally probably should have gone for, to be fair, but who was Leeds United's boss before? Marcelo Bisla. I can't say his surname. I can't, but you know who I'm talking about. The professor.
Oh shit.
Who is it?
I'm actually googling this.
Who was Leeds United boss before Marcelo Bisla?
Was it either Heckingbottom or Evans?
Give me one.
Oh.
Give me one quickly.
Evans.
It's Heckingbottom.
You knew it was.
Yeah.
Curtis, you were so close. It was Paul Heckingbottom. You were so close. Stephen, did you know that in either of those 2?
I got 37 and Evans.
Yeah.
I thought that was Evans, to be fair. I
actually thought it was Evans. I forgot Heckingbottom did Leeds.
Oh,
yeah,
sorry.
Heckingbottom.
But it's Leeds, isn't it?
Well, that's why I threw it
Who
in
actually
there.
cares?
Just because they're in the news this week, we're sacking him. I mean, was that a right move for you, Steve, sacking a manager that's done as much as Marcelo has for Leeds?
No, that's a shocking decision. Sorry, it really is. That's the way he plays. You might not agree with the way he plays, but he will play Man City the way he plays Burnley. Yeah, you're going to get a spanking every now and again, but pretty much you can guarantee you've got a better chance of staying at league. I don't think they'll stay up now.
Where are Leeds in the table?
Just above the relegation zone. Sliding ever so closer. I know one team that hopefully won't bypass them, Steve, and that is the Budgies.
They're already gone.
I mean,
they've already gone, in your opinion. Okay.
I would say so, yeah.
Leeds did concede 20 and 4.
They always did go with Bielsa, though, didn't they? Because that's the way he played. Yeah. It was gung-ho. But Leeds fans liked it. And I've spoken to a couple of Leeds fans. They don't even know what they're getting with this guy. No one's heard of him. They don't even know what they're getting.
He's the Red Bulls guy, wasn't he? He's come from
yeah.
And he's gone straight to Premier League.
All right.
I still don't think many people know who he is.
What we're getting from McKenna. So as we head into Fleetwood, what are you thinking, Steve? I know you're ever so optimistic, and I know you're going to tell me while it's not, while it's mathematically possible, it's still possible. But come on, honestly,
I would say we'd probably get 7th. Yeah, but I was thinking about it earlier on. Yeah, I made a tweet. Zigzag said, forget everything that's happened. All the players need to forget everything that's happened. We've now got an 11 game mini league. All we have to do is do the better than anybody else in this 11 game mini league. Effectively, we've got the 11 games that Kieran McKenna had, and we gained 6 points on everyone. Now, if we can do that again, which is possible, we can still do it. It's tough. We've got to go up against. Let's remember when we get to play Rotherham, they might already be promoted and they might not really give us stuff. Same with Wigan. By the time we get round to them, they might have been promoted and they won't give us stuff. There's lots to play. There is lots to play for. There's lots of dynamics, and our strikers might, like I said, everyone turns around and says, "Well, they're out of form." Yeah, but form can come just as quickly as it disappears. You know what I mean? And it's like, well, all it takes is one goal, and Bourne or Norwood or whatever could go on a hot streak. And you think to yourselves like, well, what happens then? It's very easy when we just had, let's be fair, we've just had 2 games that we should have won, and we dominated both games. I think we had like 50 shots in 2 games, which is a miracle for us for a start. Yeah. And we've got the second best in 2022. We've got the second best defense other than Rotherham. So we've got everything there. Everything's there to be built on. Yeah. And it's just a matter of like having like I said, a mini league of 11 games, forget everything that's been, and work towards getting as many points as we can. Not worrying about anybody else, not worrying about how many points we're going to get in March or how many points we're going to get in April. Focus on Fleetwood. Then once that's done, scrub a line through it. We've got a mini league of 10. Focus on that. Keep going, one after each other. And let's just see how many we can get. If we get enough points, whoopee. If we don't, we don't. But that's probably because, as Curtis said earlier, it wasn't really just the start as well. And he's got a point there, because then form picked up and then form dropped off a cliff again. So it's like a hill. It started off badly, went up, and then shot off a cliff, and we lost about 5 in a row. That's why he was sacked. So we had 2 bad spells, and you can't really afford to have any bad spells. So we've got to be honest that Kieran McKenna's worked wonders, and I've got to credit John McGreal. I said that to Amy because he brought in the 3-5-2. He started the 3-5-2, and Kieran McKenna probably saw it, especially that Sunderland game or Wycombe game, and thought, "Oh, I can work with that," and maybe he carried it on. I don't know, but I think some credit's got to go to John McGreal because he brought in the 3-5-2. So I think we've a shot, but we've got to be realistic and think like, well, let's just take each game as it comes, give it our best, and just play for now. Play the best team that we can, and trust Kieran McKenna to pick the right players.
Okay. Something else that we've discussed the strikers, Steve, and I'll get the 2 boys' thoughts in a second. Midfield, if we go WWF style, we've got a triple threat here between Tom Caroll, Tyree Bakinson, and Idris El Mizani to see who replaces Lee Evans, who I didn't think we'd miss as much as we have done, but we are missing him. So who slots inside there? Because at the moment they're all, I'm looking at Val Venus, Scotty Too Hotty, and Grandmaster Sexay. It's mid-card mania.
Money in the bank.
I might actually be very unpopular here, but I actually thought Tyreek wasn't too bad. I know he's gangly. I know he looks like he's Bambi on ice. You know what I mean? But let's be fair. He put some nice passes through. He had a good shot that the keeper had to save. That's more than Caroll was. Let's be fair. We didn't get any shots.
He had a lot of hospital passes as well, though, and he had to be bailed out by players. Like misplaced passing. No, I'm sorry. He's coming as this. He's meant to be a tidy player and keep the ball. He can't keep the ball better than Caroll. That's a fact. He can't keep the ball.
No, I never said he could, but he's offering more going forward than Caroll. What's Caroll offering?
True.
Carroll's stats are probably better. I don't know. But for the benefit of this conversation, Carroll's stats are better.
I tell you what, our stats were better on Saturday, but we didn't win. Stats get you nothing.
No, I hear that. I just don't think. I get what you're saying.
Bakinson's got us a goal, and he nearly got us a goal on Saturday. So I'm going
Bakinson got a tapping off his shin. He got a Drinan-esque type of goal. Let's not.
Are you taking it?
Let's.
Oh, come on, Kally. You know the SP. Are you taking it?
No, it's not about not taking it. No. It's not about not taking it. You can't put that in the conversation about him being a good player. Saying he's got a goal.
Saying he is.
He's got a goal. That's not in the conversation about him being a good player.
All right. So
you're saying you're misconstruing what I'm saying. I'm saying he's not a tidy player. He's a very untidy player. I don't even know whether he's a good player.
That's my point. He was meant to come in. When you heard what he was about, I'd heard the same conversation from when we signed Raheem Harper in the summer. He was meant to be the same player. He's a box-to-box player. He keeps the ball. He's range of passing. He's going to assist goals and stuff like that. That's what he was meant to... Hold on, wait. That's what he was meant to come in and be as this player. All I've seen of him, right, if I'm being fair, is for the guy who's 6 foot something or whatever, I've never seen someone so tall lose so many headers in the middle of the park, right? I've never seen someone with so many loose balls. For every great pass he has, and he has got some great passes. I just said it earlier on the show about the ball he did for Norse, where that could have been an assist, right? Fair play, right? If Norse hadn't messed up, right? But for every good ball, there's also the ball where he's played a hospital pass where a JD's got to stretch his leg to make sure that actually he reaches the ball, and all of a sudden, or on the weekend, I saw when he's trying to switch the play, and he's basically kicked it out of the fucking stadium almost.
I get your point, but weren't we saying that? Weren't we having these exact same conversations about Lee Evans about 3 months ago, and now we miss Lee Evans? Differences on
that.
He's had time.
Forget the time, right? Lee Evans as a player, Lee Evans has got credit in the bank, right? Lee Evans has done it, right?
When?
What do you mean where?
All right. So you're going.
At the beginning of the season, Lee Evans was demonised.
Okay, let's forget.
There's Raheem Harper, and you're still demonising him.
Let's forget the credit.
I like Harper.
Lee Evans will put a fucking tackle in.
I agree.
I'm with you, Steve.
Right?
Not denying
That's what he
this.
does. No, that's the difference between him and a Bakinson. A Bakinson isn't going to slide and make that tackle.
Right. So you're going Bakinson, you're going Carroll. Curtis.
I'm not going Carroll. For me, it's El Miz. El Miz. El Miz all day. I'm just saying Carroll's a better passer of the ball than.
I honestly don't think any of them suit that position.
I would send Tyrese Baxon.
I never knew that one topic would be the bar that makes it all fizz.
For me, I'm not quite sure any of them fit that defensive midfield role. I really don't. I preferred El Miz when he was in the Morsy role going forward, like he was at Oldham, and he got that goal. I don't think he suits that defensive midfield role. So I think it's a matter of just finding
Lewis is not the answer.
Till he comes back.
Bring back the ginger palo.
Right.
Maybe. But it's good.
I will give you the benefit of some stats. Bakinson has had 7 starts. Tom Carroll's had 10, and Idris El-Mazani's had 4. Bakinson's had 1 goal. The other 2 haven't scored a goal yet. I don't care how he scored it, Kally. It still says a goal on the stat sheet.
El Miz not in the FA Cup.
So these are league games.
FA Cups don't count. It's a league game.
It's a goal.
It's Oldham. It's Oldham.
No, that was a goal.
That was a world bit.
If we're saying it's League 2 for Tyrese Simpson, we're saying it was a good goal, but we're saying it's Oldham.
Two League 2 teams.
All right. 2 big chances. 2 big chances from Tyreek, from Tom Carroll, and none from El Miz. 1 key pass a game from Bakinson, Tom Carroll, and 0 from El Miz. And Tom Carroll was the better passer completion rate of 84%. Tyreek's at 79%. Those are the stats from SofaScore. Let's throw them out the window like we do every single thing else. Who plays in midfield for you, Curtis?
So, as chairman of the Bakinson's
Appreciation Society,
as chairman of that society, I'm going to put El Miz in my midfield. I can't get on this hype train with Bakinson. I don't see what he offers us compared to everyone else. I think he offers us the exact same thing. So in my opinion, I might be going a bit sentimental, but I'd rather just blood one of our own, bring him through.
He's a contracted player as well, isn't he?
To be fair,
it's on a new extension. Yeah.
If I wanted to see anyone, I'd like to see Morsy going in the 2 in the middle. Have Morsy a bit deeper and have a Luco in centre midfield.
Has he got the legs for that? Hang on, well, that's a
In the
good
centre
question.
midfield to move forward, yeah, I think yeah.
That's a great question and a great point to bring the GOAT in, because the GOAT is the chairman of the Sonny Aluko Appreciation Society. Steve wants to see Aluko in the centre midfield, Colin.
With Morsy a bit deeper.
With Morsy playing the deeper role. Would you be in favour of that? Can Sonny Aluko do that?
Yeah, I think so. But I kind of prefer him playing like in the number 10 role. But like I've said before over the last few weeks, and I agree with what Rich and one or two other people said today. Lewis put it on there and Rich put it on there. Especially from now onwards, and not all the time that's going to include Sonny. We've got to be playing, because I'm still keeping the faith. I'm sure Kally and everybody else is, hopefully. But we've got to be starting to play what Kieran thinks. Obviously, what he's seen during the week, what he regards as his best 11 for that particular game. And whether that means Sonny playing in central midfield, or whether it means him playing at the number 10 role, or whether that means him not playing at all, I'm with that, because like I said before, and I hate to keep repeating myself, I'm not alone with this. I know I'm not. I'm not alone with yourself, Gov, or Kally, or Stephen, or Rich, or Curtis, or anybody. We all support the shirt, whoever wears that shirt, and I will continue to do that until we are mathematically out of this. And I'll tell you, Stephen kind of skirted over it a little bit, and I have still not given this up. And I'll tell you what, Rich can say what he likes to me, or anybody else. They can say to me, "Look, Colin, you're talking out of rubbish." I'm not talking out of rubbish, because I know it can be done. This league is this league. Like I've been told, and I've took it on board. Perhaps I didn't earlier in the season, quite wrongly, but I have done now. And this league is this league, and we have to accept it for what it is. And I certainly do now. Perhaps maybe more than I did earlier in the season. And because of what everybody's drummed into my head, quite rightly into my head, I now come up with the equation that because it is what it is, it is still possible, and we have to, it's not a dream, I mean, like Rich and a lot of people, other people say, and myself, look, we've not won 3 games on a row. I mean, that really is, well, with the squad we've got, quite unacceptable, really, on the total whole of the season. But that's not to say, to quite like somebody like Stephen, who likes to remain positive all the time, which I do, it's not to say we can't win the next 3 games. I know we haven't done
not won 3 all season, Colin.
Exactly. But what's the say? Look, Rich can put what he like on there all day long in block capitals. I'm telling him right now, you can win. You can beat Fleetwood. You can beat Lincoln, and you can beat Oxford.
And you're a knob, Rich.
Easy now.
Colin's got a good point. Colin's got a good point, because at the end of the day,
say what he likes. He can say what he likes.
Hang on, Colin. Go on, Steve.
This club has just brought the record for not conceding goals. So if that can happen,
exactly,
we can score. We can win 3 games in a row. Just because we haven't done it doesn't mean that we won't do it. Yeah,
exactly.
Nobody expected Sunderland after their run to beat Wigan. Sunderland's had a bad run. Bolton's had a bad run. No, who says Sheffield Wednesday aren't going to come up and have another bad run? Who's to say another team's not going to have another bad run, and we might go on a good run? Anything can happen. You've just got to buy a lottery ticket, and that's why I said it's now a mini league of 11 games, and we just need to win as many as we possibly can. And if we do it, we do it. If we don't, we don't. But we're starting off, we're effectively like in that league, a mini league, but we've been docked a few points. We've got a bit of catching up to do. We've done it before, we can do it again.
Sorry, I've just seen Yates.
4% chance. 4% chance though, Colin. 4%.
Yeah, that's what I read. You know,
You'd have heard it here Monday first. I mean, we deliver the news first, as always, on Talking Town.
well, yeah, 4% is 4%, isn't it? You know, but I'd say it's slightly. In my opinion, I'd say that was slightly, you know, better than that. You know, because at the end of the day, we've got the likes of Portsmouth, Plymouth. And people can say what they like about the fact we won't beat them. They don't know that. I don't know that. I just think we've got a decent chance. You know, I've seen us play Plymouth like Kally did down there. We should have won that game, really. I mean, you know, if we hadn't conceded a stupid goal just for half time, we would have won that game.
I should be a millionaire, but I'm not.
Yeah, absolutely, Gav. But we absolutely pasted Portsmouth away. We should have won at Plymouth away. And when we played Oxford at home, they were doing.
Even
when we played Oxford at home, they were. Sorry, Kally?
Talking over me. I was saying when we were at Cheltenham away as well, we were talking at half time, remember? And we said that first half at Cheltenham away as an example, that first half, we thought we turned a corner then.
Oh, do you know what? Ifs and ands or pots and pans. If Bond had scored that goal out about 12, 13 minutes, would have won that game 4 or 5-0. Without no shadow of a doubt. It was all over them. Like I said about, you know, Oxford, the teams that we, you know, apparently we're all going to lose to. Oxford at home, they played very well first half, I remember. Second half, they completely went in the shell, decided to keep falling down all day. And that was a game, really, in the end, but we could and should have won, really. So Oxford don't scare me one little bit. Portsmouth certainly don't scare me. Plymouth don't scare me. I'd say, arguably, our hardest game, Wigan at home don't scare me. It really doesn't. I agree totally with what Stephen said. They can be done and dusted by then. Rotherham away, does that really scare me? Look, you shouldn't be, with the squad that we've got, I've said it all along, we shouldn't be scared of absolutely. If I'm talking to the team right now, don't be scared of anybody in this league for the rest of the season. Because nobody on paper is any better than you. What they've done is they've just been more consistent than you, you know, over a period of time. And you know, God almighty, I mean, if Ipswich of yesteryear, like when I watched them in the 70s and 80s, if we'd have had the attitude, right? Oh, you know, we can't catch Liverpool. We can't catch Nottingham Forest. We can't catch Aston Villa. If we had that attitude all the time, we'd have finished about 7th or 8th, 9th, 10th every season. But we didn't have that. That's all right, but that's the mental attitude the boys have got to have. They've got to have the mental attitude that nobody, and I repeat, nobody is squad-wise, especially, I've always said, is any better than Town. They're not.
Colin, I'm just losing you. Can you give me a score prediction? You're confident. I know that. I'm losing you. You're very choppy and a little bit behind us. What's your score prediction going to be for the weekend? I want to get that before I lose you.
I'm going to go for. I think they'll be hard again. I'm going to go 2-1 to the Town.
2-1. Okay, but the overwhelming message there is keep the faith and stick at it. Am I right?
Absolutely. And the last thing I'd like to say is, if Joe Pigott plays on Saturday, I hope you get a hat trick, son. And I mean that from my heart.
Absolutely. Colin, we know you support the Blue through thick and through thin, and you support every single one of those lads. And, you know, if they watch this show, as I know some of them do, they'll know that about yourself, Colin. Colin, we love you. Look after yourself and give that router a kick. That internet's well behind. Right, 2 teams. You've both picked one. Stephen, you can be the adjudicator here. You can tell me what you think of their lineups. Let's first of all roll with Curtis's. Curtis has gone. Well, I didn't know what you were going with, to be fair, Kurt.
Yeah, no, that's right.
Yeah, okay. So talk us through what you've got, and then Steve will deliver the Parry's verdict. Doesn't really go, but we'll go with it.
So I just don't think Thompson offers us anything more than what we currently have at the club. So I'd be taking him out. I thought he had a really poor game against Morecambe. So I'd be taking him out and keeping him and putting KVY at left back. Obviously, keeping Burns where he has been. The Don, Wolf, Edmondson, settled back line there. Walton in there for obvious reasons. Morsy, for obvious reason, being our captain. And I do believe that goal is coming. El Miz, because...
So it's Christmas.
Not El Miz, because, as I say, as chairman of the Bakinson Appreciation Society, I don't believe he should be stepping anywhere near that team on a Saturday. I mean, he can grease the wheels if he wants when they go home on the team coach. Now, Norwood have put up front in the middle because that is where he's played best.
Yeah.
And as to go for the 2 wider roles, I've gone for Jackson purely because he has got the pace to burst it down the wing. Obviously, he's better down the middle, but I think as we're struggling a bit up front, 4 options there. I've put Jackson there on the left and then Selena on the right, or it could go vice versa.
Yeah, either way. Stephen, before I ask you to deliver that, I want to give a big round of applause to Nightmare, who is winning at life. It's not a nightmare; it's a dream come true for you because you've just become a YouTube member. Welcome to the family, Nightmare. Thank you ever so much. And as Cruncher says, get the King Prawn Booner in or fish cake. I hear Cruncher is also a bit partial to, but welcome to the family, Nightmare. Thank you ever so much. Follow his lead or their lead or her lead because he's winning at life. Parry, go on, Kally.
I was just saying that's the importance of commas and taking that welcome to the family, Nightmare, or welcome to the family,
Nightmare. Just welcome to the family. Just welcome to the family, the Talking Town family.
La Familia.
La Familia. Parry, deliver the verdict. What do you think of that one?
Before Stephen adds anything and gives his proper verdict, I just want to say, Yatesy, I'm disappointed. The fucking numbering man.
And I
Get
did
the
that.
right. Oh, God. I'm fucking disappointed then, Martin. What the fuck?
That's right. We can do a disappointment sandwich because you're disappointed in my numbering. I'm disappointed that Curtis sent through a fucking team. He expected me to do all the grunt work.
So then there's a 43.
Do you know what I mean?
Oh, did you just text it or something?
He just texted it through, and I had to guess it was a formation, and that's what I did at 8:25. I was quickly. Yeah. Count yourself lucky, Kally, that it's got 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 in that sort of order. Because the app wanted to put 3 at centre half, and I was like, no, that's not happening. But yes, we'll work on it. We'll work on it, Kurt. Stephen.
Well, for that one, I can see the KVY, and it wouldn't surprise me if that's why he was with the under-23s to get up to speed.
Yeah, you said that on the Twitter, actually, yeah.
Because he did look like he was blowing a bit, Thompson, second half. So I can see him being dipped out and KVY going in. I'm not sure about Jackson and Norwood. I know people like them, but I'm sorry. They're not blowing my skirt up anything. You know what I mean?
Really?
If he's gonna, I think if he, it's difficult. Like I said, I'm still convinced he's not convinced in any of them, and he's rotating them around to keep them all happy. You know what I mean? That's probably the most logical thing that I can think of right now, because you could settle on a settled 2, whether it be Bon and Piggott, Jackson and Norwood, Bon and Norwood. It's very easy to settle on a settled 2, but the fact he's playing them all says to me that he's not convinced on any of them, and he just wants to keep them all playing and all sweet. If he stumbles on something, then he'll leave someone in, but that he's just not stumbling on anything. So,
but he won't do, because Jackson stumbled on some form and he gets.
Yeah, but after that, he didn't play very well, did he? because he played one up front on his own.
So is that how much room you've got
I don't
to
think
play
Jackson
well?
plays.
One game.
No, I just don't think Jackson played well when he was with Piggott, but then he went one up front on his own and he didn't play very well. And I don't think he does play very well on his own.
So playing with Piggott.
No,
I don't care if he plays.
Sorry, B. I think you're played.
He had Selena and
MK.
All right.
Yeah, no, that was the reason why he was played up front on his own. Yeah, but there was another game after. No, that was a different game. I'm about
hold up. More important news. If Lewis Robinson, if we get 100 likes on the video, he will donate 50 quid to UNICEF. Get liking the video. There's more than. Come on, there's enough of you to like this video. Get on it. Get doing it.
You know, just to see Lewis part with some money, I'm gonna like that as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've got about 4 different YouTube accounts, so sorry.
Only 4? I've got 43,999 YouTube burner accounts. That's how we get 44,000 views, don't you know? That's what people think anyway. But yes, Stephen,
I can turn around and
out
say,
of 10, rate the team because I have got a bed. It is cooling me.
I will give that because I'm not convinced with the forward line. I'll give it a 7.
7.
Yes.
All right, Kally. You were hard at work.
See, this is what you do. See, look at this. Hold on, before we even go, look at that. Kally's 11 versus Fleetwood. Proper numbers in the positions are done. Do you know what I mean? Yatesy, I'll send you the app, bro.
The gold standard in contributors, Curtis, is the king. He's not, but we'll let him think it. So you've both gone for El Miz with Morsy in the centre midfield. You've both gone for Selena. You've both gone for Jackson, albeit in different sort of permutations. You've gone for Bon, Kally, with Thompson at left back. Talk me through those 2 big decisions there.
I do like the look of KVY back there, to be honest. But I think even though I think Thompson, because he was brought in Jan, I don't know the way he's got on it or whatever. I think there's going to be something there about he's expected to play all the games or something there, right? He's expected to be the main left wing back. I can't see him. He'll probably come off maybe for KVY or something like that. And even though I put El Miz in there, I still have a feeling it'll be Bakinson again. I just couldn't I really tried to type it, but my hand wouldn't allow me to write Bakinson. It just defaulted to El Miz all the time. So I don't know. There was a glitch on my Android or whatever, right? But the front 2 because I think form wise as well. I know Bon isn't in the hot streak of form he has, but I would like to see a Bon Jackson partnership. I think they actually complement each other. I think if you look at when we had Jackson and Norwood at the beginning of our first League One campaign, we looked really well. Them 2 particularly looked really well together up front. And this isn't me bashing Norwood, but I think Bon is a better version of James Norwood on his day. He's a better version of it. So I think, I'd like to see that. And I think that partnership there will see Bon scoring goals again.
Okay. All right. Stephen, over to you.
I like that one. But for me, replace Jackson with Piggott. Because I thought when we started the season, Bon and Piggott had a good partnership. And I think that can be recaptured.
But is it my only kind of comeback on that then is it worth taking a punt on that? And we all know, yes, he's been close and unlucky with Piggott has. But if I'm looking at kind of, and we've got to use the term loosely, but a kind of hot streak on strikers, because there hasn't really been one. Jackson's probably the one. Jackson's the one that since that MK Dons game, as an example, he hasn't had a bad game.
I get your point. I'm just looking at the fact of Bon and Piggott played well before, and we're getting results with it. Even though we were conceding goals, we're still getting goals, and we're getting results with that formation.
Didn't the Bash brothers like Bon and Norwood played well together, and now they've gone off the boil?
Yeah, I know. I just think it was look at again. That's all. At the end of the day, we're all like clutching at straws and saying, "Well, we've got to find something." I'm just thinking maybe going back to Bon and Piggott and see what that does. If it doesn't work, if it doesn't work, pull Piggott off and put Jackson at half time. Just something. Just do something.
Play all 3. Be bold. Be bold.
And then have Selena behind him and then swap him with Chaplin, at half time, whatever. Just change
just let Morsy be the pivot in midfield and play Selena, Jackson, Bon, and Piggott as a fuck defending. Let's go.
Would you play Chaplin as an out-and-out striker?
I won't play Chaplin in at all. He's out of form.
He's too small. I know he can play it, but I think he's too small. In this league, get bullied.
He's got to score goals, not do a high jump.
Isn't
against 6'5" defenders, he'd get eaten, wouldn't he? He's better in that little pocket just in front of the defenders. He doesn't have to fight.
Fair
B,
point. All right.
There's a few questions there. Yeah. When are you getting the batteries for the smoke alarm?
He doesn't do that.
You know, I've changed it.
I've got the fucking alarm.
I've got an electrical safety test coming next week. I'll get them to have a look at it.
Score predictions then. Stephen, you first, please.
I'm going to be bold. I've got 2-0.
2-0. Love it. Curtis.
I'm going to go 1-0 Town.
1-0 Town. It's 3 points. You take it any way you can. The King.
Fuck. We don't do well in the Northwest. We don't.
No, I know we don't. I've said that before.
We don't leave with 3 points.
We don't do well when I'm going either.
I see us winning 2-0 at half time, and then Joe Garner and NCR.
Joe Garner can't play. He's suspended.
All right. Harrison and Garner Harrison and Toto get a goal in the 90th minutes.
All right.
2-2. I'm going for a draw.
All right. There we go. We're back live tomorrow, 7:30, to the away day guide to Fleetwood with Amy. And we've got a couple of guests joining us as well. Then we're live again on Friday, 8:30. Press conference reaction. Hopefully, Nappers will be also joining us on Friday. But until then, we're done. Become a YouTube member. Support us through Ko-Fi. Support the platform. Help it become bigger and better to allow more reasoned voices than Kally and Stephen on. But for the time being, that's all we can get. I love you, really. I love you both very dearly. That is Mr. Beat, Preston Pump, Stephen Parry. That is the artist.
I was in the paper the other day. I was in the paper the other day.
Do I dare ask what?
You're normally in the paper though, but
I was on the back of the ADT. Sarah showed at me. I was doing the angry meatloaf impression.
I love your Twitter profile picture at the moment. It's that
I thought I changed my Twitter profile for it.
That's the one. You're normally in the paper though. It's normally, have you seen this man in the Chorley area?
Plenty of them in town.
Be kind. Right. It's Parry, Curtis. Yes. He's the king. With love, with care. Hit the like button. Make Lewis stump up some cash. But until then, we'll see you all tomorrow.
We're on a journey, looking back on the things that we've taken for granted, but feels like we're learning to be better.